Hello and welcome. Sometimes, when you open the first electronic calculators on the market in the 1960s and 1970s, you'll find circuit boards with tiny rings on them and wires running through them. Those are the first RAM memories. This is a brief history of magnetic core memory, the now forgotten technology that dominated computing for 20 years, from the early 1950s to the 1970s. I will keep very simple. If you'd like more information, I leave some links in the comments. Before modern silicon microchips, computers and calculators memory consisted of a dense network of tiny black rings with copper wires inside. To have the 2 kilobytes, 2000 bytes of characters needed on Apollo 13, which took us to the moon, 16,000 of these rings were needed. In fact, 2 kilobytes of RAM would be useless today. In 225, PC runs with around 8 GB RAM, so at least a billion times bigger. Each of these ferrite rings, often less than a millimeter thick, represented a bit, so 8 of them were needed to make a byte. So this module with 8 rows of 8 ferrite rings of 1 bit is 8 byte. And this electronic board with 6 blocks is 48 byte. Its dimensions is 20 for 5 centimeter, 8 by 2 inch. So a 8 GB memory made up of these core memories should be about 150 million times larger. It would occupy 400 soccer fields, 27 buildings as big as the Pentagon in USA. In the 1960s, a 128 kilobytes module could weigh about 280 kilograms, 600 pounds, and occupied a metal cabinet 2 meters height, 1 meter wide, and 1 meter deep. And of course, computers of that time were very big. These are from a catalog of 1963. Olivetti Ilia 9003, Olivetti Ilia 6001, IBM 609, IBM 1401. Today, a tiny micro SD card has millions times the capacity, weighs just a few grams, and it's thousands of times faster. Early computers in the 1940s and 1950s, like the ENIAC, used mainly vacuum tubes with problems of overheating, failures, power consumption, and size. But around 1947, Anne Wong and J. Forrester of MIT had a simple and brilliant idea, using small ferromagnetic ceramic rings, toroids, with copper wires threaded inside to permanently store data. The problem was the production. There were no machines capable of threading thousands of wires into microscopic rings without breaking them, so this work was handmade. Imagine producing this module having to manually insert thousands of times a microscopic needle into a tiny hole without making a single mistake. Producing these memories required incredible patience and manual dexterity. For example, it was expert seamstresses from Massachusetts textile mills who literally woven the memories for the Apollo mission. How do you choose which toroid to magnetize? As you can see here, each toroid is crossed by 3 copper wires. 2 wires are responsible for magnetizing the toroid in one of 2 states, representing the 1 and the 0 of the binary system. The third wire is responsible for reading. In this grid of wires, each toroid is located in a unique position where a vertical wire meets a horizontal wire. To change the magnetization of a toroid, a certain amount of current is required, let's say 1. An electric current of about half the power needed to magnetize the toroid is sent through the vertical and horizontal wires. Therefore, the toroids receiving half of the current do not change magnetization, and only the one at the intersection changes, since it is the only one receiving the full current. For decades, core memory was unrevolved for at least 3 reasons. Non-volatility. When the computer was turned off, the data remained imprinted in the magnetism of the cores. Reliability. There were no moving parts. Endurance. Unlike modern semiconductors, cores are almost immune to cosmic radiation, which is why they were used in space for so long. The end came in the early 1970s, when Intel introduced DRAM. Silicon chips could be mass-produced, were much smaller, and cost a fraction of core memory. Today the technology of the core memories is no longer used, but the English term core is still used, for example as in Intel Core or multi-core. But these are the last linguistic ghosts of an era when computer memory was a heavy, indestructible, and made magnetic embroidery. Don't you think that's brilliant? I would never have thought of that. Thank you all. Have a good day.